Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Jason Freeman. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow tells us about the future of the DCU. Now, I'll tell you up front that this video will contain spoilers for the comic Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, as well as potentially the film that comes out 2 years after Superman Legacy. So if you don't want those things spoiled, you should click off this video now. All right, you've been warned. So on January 31st, 2023, James Gunn, the co-CEO and co-chair of DC Studios, said this.
One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character.
So a little synopsis of the plot for the comic Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So the comic begins with the murder of a poor farmer who's been killed by a king sergeant who's been sent there to test the farmer's loyalty to the king. Ruthye, the youngest child of the poor farmer who just happens to be the only girl, goes on a quest for vengeance. She goes and seeks the help of a ruthless man to go ahead and kill the king sergeant in front of her. The payment for this murder would be the sword used to kill her father. Now, of course, things go awry. The killer insists that he wants the payment now, so he wants the sword right now. She refuses. He takes the sword, smacks her around, and that's when Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, intervenes. And for the rest of the story, you have Ruthye and Kara tracking Krim of the Yellow Hills, who is the man who killed Ruthie's father, across the known universe. And so you may ask, why was Kara on this distant planet in the first place? Well, it's simple. It was her 21st birthday, and she went to a planet with a red sun so she can get drunk. And so this brings me to the first thing that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, tells us about the future of the DCU. Mainly, we're going to have some strong, complicated female characters. Gone are the days of the naive yet noble Diana, played by Gal Gadot, being the face of the DCEU. And with the DCU, we're going to have Viola Davis being front and center as the anti-hero Amanda Waller. We're going to have Hawkgirl, who's going to be this tiny yet powerful warrior. And you're going to have, probably, when the movie comes out, a drunk Kara. So in the comic, Kara drinks, she curses up a storm, and she even straight up lies to Ruthye to basically teach her a lesson. Though she does adhere to the Kryptonian or the superpower Kryptonian code of conduct where she puts others ahead of herself in regards to safety. Also, she does not kill. And this brings me to the second thing that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow tells us about the future of the DCU. Because while Kara doesn't kill, pretty much everyone else in the comic does. And so I think the DCU will be much bloodier than what we've seen from the MCU. This comic literally starts with a stabbing. And so this isn't just kind of a, he got stabbed. He got stabbed and the sword was stuck in his chest. I'm talking about the farmer that got murdered, and his daughter found him. And so the beginning of the comic deals with her finding her father and removing the sword from his chest with the blood still on it. A little bit later, you have Supergirl and Krypto the Super Dog getting shot with arrows under a red sun, meaning that they can be injured. And so we have a whole thing about potentially Krypto dying. And on a side note, I'm happy that Krypto the Super Dog was in both All-Star Superman and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, because I think it increases the likelihood that we'll see him in the DCU, which I'm sure all the hardcore Snyder fans are going to really love. Hey, look, Clark had a dog in Man of Steel. Just make him super and got Krypto. There you go. Yeah, the Snyder fans are not going to like this at all. There's a scene where a villain gets his fingers cut off. There's another scene where a villain gets stoned to death. And you see both things up close in the panels of the comic. There's a group called the Brigands who goes from planet to planet committing genocide just for fun. And the worst of all is that there's a scene where you have these 2 alien, kids. One is stabbed to death, and so you see the knife come through his chest. And the other one is basically dismembered alive. And he basically tells Kara and Ruthye about how it was to be dismembered by this villain. And so when Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow finally comes to the screen, I think we're going to see at least some of this violence. I think we're going to have at least a PG-13 rating, if not an R. And I think that this is going to be the same in films across the DCU. We've already seen this with the Suicide Squad from James Gunn. It was a very bloody, brutal film. I haven't really seen Peacemaker. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to talk about it on this channel. But from what I've seen in like the clips, I think it's also a very bloody show. Again, a carryover from the Suicide Squad. And so I think that this is going to be a pattern. So whether MCU was very much Disney and we're going to try to keep things clean, I think this is very much going to be, you know, this is Warner Brothers, this is the DCU, and we're going to see a lot of bloody violence. And this brings me to the third and final thing that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow tells us about the future of the DCU. So where in the Suicide Squad you had a lot of bloody violence, you also had a lot of humor. And so we see the same thing in this comic. For example, you have this scene in the comic.
Mother. You speak often of this mother, especially when your agony becomes acute. This is your husband?
And throughout the comic, you have comedy just like this. So it's no wonder that James Gunn liked this comic so much that he decided that this is going to be his version of Supergirl. Now, if you found this video interesting and or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. And if there's other DCU content you want me to cover on this channel, please leave those suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.